Now there's a boring background. Part 2, curriculum at education's center stage. This is just the overview of the next section of the reader, which is the second third of the 20th century, so the 1930s to 1960s, there and about. I'm really excited to get into this because a ton of it has to do with a debate that I've never heard of, but I feel strongly about. So I'm really excited to read what's already been debated and reflect on those ideas. So we're going to start with Tyler. His reading is The Principles of Curriculum and Instruction. He's a very straightforward, this is how we set curriculum kind of a guy. For 4 steps to building curriculum: start with the purpose, then the experience, then the organization, and then the evaluation. It seems really straightforward to me, and it may be another one of those logically sound pieces that will then be criticized in practice, which seems to be a lot of how this reader is set up, but that's fine. Falaise, and Fantozzi, something like that. Their reading is, was there really a social efficiency doctrine? The uses and abuses of an idea in educational history. So this would be more of a history piece, criticizing this cult of efficiency that seemed to come up, and wondering what we actually meant by social efficiency, because Dewey and Bobbitt both used it in kind of different ways. They also will talk about how math and science and foreign language, all the curricula, was pushed from a competitive motivation in the Cold War, and how it followed a cycle of optimism and failure. Bruner, what's your reading called, Bruner? Okay. Bruner, Man, A Course of Study, or MACOS. Bruner was a new curriculum developer. He developed this curriculum called Man, A Course of Study, MACOS, which had 3 core ideals: that children could learn more than we give them credit for, that, what was the other 2? That children learn most effectively if they discover ideas rather than being told them, and and that children should focus on how things are related, not the knowledge that they're going to forget anyways. So he is an early proponent that schools should be teaching students to learn how to learn, which I agree with. I think obviously, but I think I should say I agree with these things because, I don't know, maybe they're not obvious. Then begins the great objectives debate. This is the thing I'm really excited about. To this point, the discussion had been not should objectives be used, the discussion had been which objectives and how should those objectives be used. And I'm coming into this totally agreeing with that. I think that humans follow goals, and that having objectives is a necessary part of doing things. But I don't know. I'm excited to listen to the ideas that that objectives are not important. And I mean, I think about reading and how quickly putting an objective to reading can kill the fun of it. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm open to it. So yeah. Somebody that's for objectives is Popham. He says that clearly stated objectives allow teachers to decide how and what they want to do. And he also says that clearly stated objectives allow evaluators to evaluate how we're doing. I really strongly agree with this. Like, in order to do things, we have to value certain things. And in order to do those things better, we have to begin to clearly state what we're trying to do. And I would rather play within a set of rules that are defined than play within a set of rules that are not. To a certain point, again, right? I love Gray. I love that. Anyways, I don't need to dive into that. Somebody who was against it was Eisner. His piece is called Educational Objectives, Help or Hindrance. So this is the first argument directly against having objectives. Really excited to read this one. I'm going to do my reflection on the Tyler piece, but I'm going to read this Eisner one for sure. Apparently there's three main problems with objectives. One, that there's too many things we're trying to teach anyways, so it doesn't make sense to try to put down objectives because there's so many of them. I don't really see this as an issue. I think there's nothing wrong with having a small amount of core objectives and then being open to all of the things that come with learning. But that's one of his points. The second one is that it doesn't work in practice, that teachers may start with these objectives, but the school and the routine and the dynamics of the classroom change these objectives anyways. I again don't think that's an issue. Like, I'm completely comfortable starting with an objective of teaching the understanding of fractions and that moving into a different quality objective. I don't think that that negates the effectiveness of having an objective in the first place. But again, I haven't read his article yet. And the third one is that we shouldn't confuse objectives with standards, and that judging and evaluating people based on objectives automatically includes a bunch of judgment that doesn't help and is unnecessary. And I'm actually pretty on board with that. I do think that your goals should be different than your standards, right? My objective may be to teach every specific outcome in the Sky Science unit, but the standard is not that they know every single one. The standard is, I mean, as defined by a freaking multiple choice test, is that they know like 60% of them. But this standards and objectives are different, which is why I don't think that the FNMI objective in our teacher quality standards is appropriate, because that's an objective to me, not a standard. But that's a whole other thing. So, goal for the next couple hours here: read Tyler, reflect on Tyler. That's the must do. I hope to also read Eisner, maybe Montessori, maybe Adams, because from the looking back section, I haven't read those yet, although I've read a lot of the reflections from my classmates. And then I need to read the TRC as well, the Truth and Truth and Reconciliation. I don't know what the C is for. Okay, we're at 8.5 minutes. This is a long and kind of jabbering one, so thanks for watching.